wants a 300 brake horsepower, front engine V8, rear wheel drive coupe from Jaguar, all for £6,000. It's maybe this best value Grand Tourer currently on the market. This week I'm lucky enough to be joined by the owner Liam and his 2007 Jaguar XK. Welcome to this week's Fast and Fun. So the Jaguar XK, well, the first came in two generations. The first generation, known as the XK8 in base format, as well as the supercharged XKR, came out in 1996 as a sort of a follow-on from the 80s and 90s XJS coupe. Then in 2006, it was pretty much drastically uplifted into what we've referred to now as a second generation. It lost the 8, it became the Jaguar XK then in base format, although there was an XKR which was a supercharged version. And that ran from 2006 to 2014. 4.2, so V8, front engined, delivering just under 300 brake horsepower, about 310 pounds-feet of torque, which is about 420 newton meters, all to the rear wheels, and they look stunning cars. So, Liam, what's made you dabble into the Jaguar? Is this your first Jaguar car?
So this is my first Jag.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And what attracted you? What have you come from to come to this? What's made you want to go for an XK?
Well, it's probably my last midlife crisis has been going on for the last 20 years.
Snap!
So in essence, I got a bit bored of my modern day hot hatch, which is over there, my Ford Fiesta.
Which I'll put a link up there. I reviewed that a year ago,
yeah,
probably?
About a year ago, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had quite a lot of modern day sports cars, but I'm getting increasingly bored of them. So I was looking for something a bit more analogue. Yes. And as we all do, we have those evenings with something cold in your hand going on certain websites.
Yes, absolutely.
Automotive websites.
Yeah.
And I just was looking at certain price points, and all of a sudden, Jag just popped up. And I thought, surely for under 10 grand, I couldn't get anything like this. And all of a sudden, I just seen all these cars. And Jag always had this perception for me as an old man's car. But when I look in the mirror, maybe I'm not as young as I used to be.
I know.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So just give me some of the specs on this then. So this is a 2007.
Yeah, so this is the 2007 4.2 V8.
Yeah.
It's not the supercharged that everyone asks, is it the supercharged? I didn't consciously go for the supercharged for two reasons. A, the price point was a bit higher than where I wanted to be. Yeah. And B, to get the running costs with that just a bit more as a second weekend toy was kind of a bit beyond my price point. Yeah. But it's got 0 to 60 is about 6 seconds. Yeah. It's not going to beat many boy races off the line, but that's not what it's about. Absolutely.
This is about luxurious, cruising, Grand Tourer value. Has got to have come into it, Liam, surely. I mean, in preparation for this video, like I do on most videos, I look through some of the internet and do all my research around the cars I'm looking at, and I'm looking at values, and this is, I find a great comparator to my old Mercedes SL 500, similar sort of value, and I'm just thinking, wow. I suppose reliability, running costs, they're the things that think about when you come into these. It's not just about the actual outright purchase of this. So, is this standard? Is this modified?
It's totally standard, so it's only a two owners from new.
Wow.
So it's pretty low ownership. It has done over 100,000, about 110,000. But
wow.
So it's pretty low ownership. It has done over 100,000, about 110,000. But
I assume that's average for an XK though.
And I want that. I'd be more nervous if a car done maybe 40 or 50,000 of this vintage. So it's kind of something. And I've got
a wad,
an absolute wad. And the good thing is, the ownership you could tell by the ownership history. Yes. That people had put money into it to maintain it. There was stuff that was. The forward-thinking stuff that needed to be done, rather than kind of the reactive stuff you can just tell, and like all the research, like them thermostat housings, all the kind of weak areas of this had been done recently. Yes. So I was kind of a lot more comfortable, touch wood, this engine is just rock solid.
Bulletproof.
Pretty bulletproof, yeah.
Because this is the same engine that was in the XK8, wasn't it? The first gen.
Yeah.
Because it did get updated in 2009, was it, when it moved to the 5 litre? I think
5 litre, and you know, and again, it was just going a bit higher. So my plan is, whenever I buy a car,
yes,
I always say I can buy a ticket into the nightclub, but I want to make sure I can buy the drinks.
Correct.
And
absolutely.
at this point, I knew
you're comfortable.
I'm comfortable, and I knew if the worst things that do happen, I've kind of got enough to kind of cover that, to make sure, because that's, for me, that's part of the overall enjoying experience. You want to put the key in the car, turn it on, and not be worried.
Yeah.
About you know, if things go a bit awry.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, as we've talked about, was the second generation of the XK, codenamed X150, I think.
Yep.
Liam, is that right?
Yep.
First generation was the X100, and there was a big change, wasn't it? Because this became all aluminium, bonded aluminium, riveted structure. So comes in at just under 1600 kg, less, I believe, than the original XK8.
Yeah.
And I assume because of that all aluminium construction, rust is much less of an issue then.
Yeah. So there's not really any issues. The only thing is with rubber leaks around the boot lids and stuff, but that's put into the rust now. Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a walk around the car like we normally do, and then we're going to take it out on some of Liam's local roads. We're not in the forest this time, some of Liam's local roads, to see what it handles like. So if you start at the front of the car, the grille, Liam, I read this oval grille was designed reminiscent of the early 60s Jaguar E-types as well. By the way, I love the plate, the 007 plate, and your eyes have to be drawn to this.
Yeah.
Have you done this, or was this already on?
It was already done by the previous owner. It's a bit controversial, and I see it as a bit of fun, but I'm sure it's drawn some comments, and mostly positive comments, and people smile about it.
But some of the purists don't like it, I assume. Some of the Jaguar hardcore.
Yeah, and obviously it goes out saying it's trying to be like an Aston Martin kind of homage.
And at a glance, absolutely. It looks like it, doesn't it? It absolutely looks like it.
Yeah.
I had a few cars over at my place about a month or so ago. Liam brought the XK over. There was a DB9 there, and yes, that was the convertible, the Volante. But if you glanced at both, they're not dissimilar. And the older DB7 was very closely linked to the original XK8, the first generation XK as well. In fact, they're almost the same car, I think. So, these headlights, have they been tinted, Liam, do you think?
Yes, they're aftermarket tint as well. It's just going to give it more of a different look and different feel to the kind of standard.
Yes. And I suppose that the tint there, the darkened headlights, goes quite off nicely with the black, massive alloys, aren't they? I mean, 20-inch alloys?
Yeah, they're called Judd alloys, so they are 20-inch, so they are quite big.
Wow, they are. And it's still got the same sort of Jaguar stroke Aston symbol in the hub. Brakes, first, they look relatively small, don't they, compared to the...
They do, but they are standard. It's just, obviously, with the proportions of the 20-inch Judd alloys, they do look small.
Yeah, I think that's what's... And standard with these...
I think they were 18s originally, but
right.
I can't say for certain.
Yes, okay. And reminiscent of JLR products, really. The Range Rover's got something similar. The sort of the shark fin on the sides, like that. Side indicators buried in there.
Yeah, so that was a vinyl wrap here, and also got a vinyl wrap at the front as well.
Oh right.
Yes.
So what were they originally? What colour were they normally?
It would have been body colour.
Oh, would they?
It just gives it a bit of
what here on the lower splitter or bumper?
And when we get to the back as well, you'll see there's a bit of a vinyl wrap as well. It's hopefully it draws it out a little bit more of a mean stance.
Yes. The rears, monster tyres on the rears.
Yeah.
They're almost, what size are they? 285, 30/20s. Wow.
Excellent.
If you go on the back of the car, again, similar badging. Exhaust, Liam, on this?
So this is an aftermarket exhaust. So this is an company called Jaguar Specialist called Adamesh exhausts.
Okay.
So they specialise in doing performance exhausts for Jaguars, and pretty much I recommend if anyone's interested who's got a Jag of this vintage to look them up, because it sounds absolutely incredible.
So it gets the best noise from the V8.
It does, yeah, really, really does. Yeah, so it is noisy.
And that's, but that's why you want. It's not nowadays. Performance almost comes with the majority of modern cars, and you need that theatre, you need that noise, you need that audible to get the adrenaline pumping, really.
Yeah.
And if we look at the back, I mean, look at the. I've called it a coupe. I think it's probably known as a coupe, but this really large slope back. It's almost like a fastback rear tailgate with the duck spoiler on the back, which standard or modified, Liam, or not sure?
I'm not quite sure, but I think it might be standard, that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we open the rear boot. So that's for a 2+2 Grand Tour. I think that's really accessible. I think you could get a plenty of kit in there, couldn't you? Certainly for two people.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's it's definitely a practical family car.
Well, I don't know about the family car stuff at the back. We'll come on to we'll have a quick peer into the back seats. And is that just a spare underneath there?
Yeah, that's just a spare.
Yeah, okay. And if we have a look round at the under the bonnet for what we can see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, front hinge then.
Yes. And you can see the beast.
Oh wow! There we go. So, was this the exact same engine for the R version, just with a supercharger bolted on? Is that what it was?
I believe so. Yeah. And so maybe people do it aftermarket. I don't know, but I just decided to just go for the standard.
Yes.
4.2.
Yeah. And what do our XKRs? How much more of a premium are they? What's the bottom of the market? Do you know?
Yeah. So for the bottom market for this is about 6,000, but really you're talking maybe 9,000-10,000 at the bottom of the market.
Okay, so it's another a good 50-60% over this price.
And I think for me as well, it's that total cost of ownership piece.
Yes.
It's not just the upfront cost; it's the maintenance and as well on that, which kind of just veered me away.
Yeah. Okay. Has anything gone wrong with the car since you've had it?
Believe it or not, nothing. So I've only had the car for 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's been fully maintained, and there's gone absolutely nothing whatsoever has gone wrong with it. It's been absolutely perfect, and because you pay to maintain it and everything, all preventive measures.
Yeah.
It's been reliable.
Excellent.
Very reliable. Yeah. So
okay.
It's been,
so, believe it or not, the sun looks like it's just about peering out of the sky, having had rain most of the morning. So what we're going to do, Liam and I are going to jump in the car and take it out on some of Liam's local roads to see what this XK drives like.